that's one of the main reasons is people are scared. So if you are scared, you can do something. You know, you can use these. Hey guys, welcome to class. All right, so for today's class, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cover some basic tricks. So some basic nunchuck tricks, nothing super advanced, but stuff that is kind of gonna be built upon in the future. All right, so first thing that we're gonna do is we're just gonna start off with the most basic, in my opinion. We're gonna do the figure eight. So you should know how to do, you might know how to do a figure eight if you've done nunchucks before. If not, well, maybe not. So figure eight looks like this. This is what I call an inward figure eight. The reason it's inward is because if I'm just doing the circle here, I'm only counting the top part of the circle, and it's moving in towards me, just like this. And now the figure eight means I'm going for the inside and then the outside. Inside, outside. So if I put my arms here, anything in between my arms, that would be considered the inside. Anything outside of my arms is considered the outside. So this is inside, and this is outside. So this is an inward figure eight. So let's go ahead and start off doing this. Right now we're going to start off in what I refer to as a high grip or a short grip, which means I'm holding the chucks really close to the string. Usually I like to be in more of a middle grip here or a longer grip, but it'll make sense a little bit later why I'm doing it in the short grip for right now. So we're going to start off here and just practice your inward figure eights. And if you know this, well, just give it a little shot. This is just kind of warm up, getting that foundation set for what's to come. Again, this is inward. As I turn to the side, you're able to see that the top half of the circle that is being made is coming in towards me as I'm doing this. Now, I'm not doing a large wrist roll here, so I'm not turning my wrist and making the chucks go really far. I'm keeping it kind of tight as I do this. I want you to try doing that as well. All right, now what we're going to do is we're just going to put it on the other side. So other hand, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do our inward figure eight, just like this. The top half of the circle is coming in. If I just let it dangle, it's going to go away from me and then in, as opposed to if it's just dangling down towards me and then this would be out. So I want to go in right here. My other hand is staying up, just like this. So just practice that inward figure eight. We're about to do the outward figure eight here in a second. Again, this for a lot of you is just really basic. This is review. For some of you though, it might be something brand new and you've never really done anything like this. All right, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to start it over my shoulder, just like this. Again, I'm still holding in that short grip or my high grip. And now I'm going to go out, and I'm doing the same thing, but opposite. So this is an outward figure eight. I'm doing this. It's going away from my body. On the top half of the circle, moves away from my body. And that's what I want. I'm going, if you look at it from the front, I'm going from the inside to the outside, inside to the outside. Again, if I'm holding my arms here, when it's in between my hands, that is the inside. When it is on the outside of my hand, well, that's the outside. Makes sense, right? Okay, let's do a few more of these, and then we're going to switch back to the other side. If you want, you can start picking up the pace. All right, now let's go ahead and let's do the same thing. I'm going to start over my shoulder again. Just makes it a little bit easier so you know which way you're going, and throw it out. And practice your outward figure eight. Again, it's going from the inside to the outside. The top half of the circle, as you're looking at it from the side, is moving away from me, and that makes it the outward figure eight. If this is too easy for you, practice moving around. So you can move around while doing this. You can practice some footwork patterns if you know any. That's going to be completely up to you. There's just a way to make it more difficult. When you're doing something super basic in nunchucks, I usually tell people add footwork. It makes it a little bit more complicated because then you're focusing on lower extremities while the upper extremity has to do something. So I might be practicing some footwork. So if it's too easy, make it a little bit more complicated. All right, so that was our inward and our outward figure eight. We did it on both sides. Now, tuck that away in your back pocket. We're going to get back to that a little bit later. Next thing that we're going to do is going to be the around the back. Again, these are kind of tricks. These are not things that I would go up and actually practice striking something with. These are just flashy things. You're not going to hit somebody with these. All right, so what I'm going to do for the around the back is what we're going to do now. I'm going to hold it now in a middle grip, just like this. I'm going to turn around so you can see. I'm going to grab both of them, just like this, and put it centered on my body. All right, so it's above my belt. It's in the small of my back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let go with one hand, and now the chuck that I'm holding, I'm going to keep the tip of the chuck that I'm holding pointed towards me the whole time. And I'm going to bring it all the way across my body. It's hard to do slow. Bring it across my body, and then again, keeping that tip pointed right at me, I'm going to bring it back, and I'm going to catch it. And I'm going to release, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other hand. So I bring it across, and I bring it back. I'm keeping the chuck pointed at me. I don't want to point away like this and then try to catch it where sometimes I missed it. I want to keep it close to my body. When you stay close to your body, it allows you to start moving faster with greater accuracy. We want to try to create these habits and these patterns so that our body knows where the chuck is going to be. You don't really have to think about it too much, and that's the goal. If we make these big movements, I can miss it a lot more likely. The only time I miss these around the backs now is when I accidentally jam my thumb when I'm doing this. So I want you to practice this. Go across the body, keep that tip pointed here, and then catch it. Release, catch it. Release, catch it. Again, if this is too easy, move around. You don't have to stay still unless you don't have much space when you're doing these. You can just practice walking around when you do it, and they make it a lot more complicated as you're doing this. Practice some pivots, rotations. If you get bored, boom, practice some kicks in between. Do what you need to make it a little bit more entertaining for you if this is too easy. If this is too difficult, stay still. Focus on what you're doing. Make sure that tip is pointed towards you the whole time. Try to catch it consistent. So now when I catch it, I don't want to catch it like this. See how it's way off to one side? I want to stay so that it's even on my back. I'm trying to catch it in the same spot each time when you're doing this. Keep that tip pointed towards you. All right, if you feel comfortable, go ahead and try to start picking up the speed a little bit. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is going to be the around the neck. So what does the around the neck look like? I usually start with the around the back, and then I bring it around the neck. So we're going to practice bouncing it off our body. That way we can repeat both sides, just like this. So this is actually called the reverse around the neck, when you're bouncing it one and then going the opposite direction. But for simplicity, we're just going to call it the around the neck right now because it's going around the neck. So some of the key things to realize when you're doing the around the neck is the hand that is passing the chuck. So I have the chuck here. That is passing is going to be going underneath. So I don't want to go here. So you see how this hand's catching? I don't want my catching hand to be underneath my passing hand like that. I want my catching hand to always be on top. Catching hands on top. Catching hands on top, passing hands on bottom. Now one of the reasons why we do that is if you catch it here and then you're releasing it, some of the time you might hit your forearm. Since you caught it with the underhand, which you should not do, you might hit your forearm, which can cause a little bit of a vibration in the string, making it a little bit more difficult. So we're here, catching hand on top. Now, there are two main reasons why I see people not able to do the around the neck. The first one is fear. People are just afraid of hitting themselves in the face. I tried to hit myself in the jaw right there, and I didn't. I just hit myself in the neck. I just wrapped around. So that's one of the main reasons is people are scared. So if you are scared, you can do something. You know, you can use these little foam ones. I personally don't like them anymore. I did start with foam, though, myself. So, you know, if you need to start with it, it's perfectly fine. And then the second reason why people aren't able to make that around the neck, and now while I'm talking, I want you to keep trying to do this, is because whenever they're passing it, the passing hand, they point the chuck. So I'm going to get close so you can see. So you see how this chuck is pointed away from, I'm going to use my spine of my neck as the reference point. It's pointed away from my spine. I always want, when I'm passing it, to point towards my spine. So you see the difference? This is now pointing towards my spine, and this is pointing away from my spine. If I point away from my spine, it usually does that. It hits up here in the back of your shoulder. So just think about it this way. When I relax this here, you see how both of the chucks are pointed in towards my spine. Now when I'm gonna rotate one, boom, and now it kind of fell off. So usually if it's pointed away from your spine, it's going to hit the back of your shoulder and not make it all the way over. And this is another reason why people get fears, because the first time they do it, they end up pointing away from their spine, they hit their shoulder and it hurts, and then they don't want to really do it anymore. So make sure that as that passing hand goes, it's pointed in towards the spine whenever we're doing this. And that will help a lot with not missing it or not hitting the back of your shoulder. And of course, it is still practice that you need, and you will still make some mistakes. Nobody's perfect. I make mistakes too. So I want you to keep practicing this, but make sure that you're always pointed the tip of the chuck towards the spine. You're always catching with the hand that's over, and then get rid of that fear. Don't be scared. You're probably not moving at a very fast pace. But another thing is, if you move too slow, you don't have that momentum, even if I'm doing it all right, to get over that shoulder. So I do need to use enough speed so that I can get over. And then another thing we want to try to add is this flick. So my wrist like this, boom, it flicks. So as I'm coming around, as I raise up to my shoulder height, I'm going to flick it like that in towards me to get it around my neck. So I'm adding a little bit of that wrist flick to be able to get it around my neck. Again, this is the reverse around the neck, but for all purposes, this is just the around the neck. Okay, so at this point, I'm hoping that you have that down. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. If you don't, it's fine. You can keep practicing it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the around the back to the around the neck. So I want you to do that with me. So we're going to bring it across, around the back, around the neck, and then you can bring it around the back, around the neck, around the back, around the neck. So this time, when I'm doing my around the back, I'm not bringing it across each time. I just did that to start. This is a good habit, and this usually happens for when we do the around the neck part 1, which starts off with a side strike. And then you notice I'm on that side, and I go there around the back, side strike, around the neck, around the back, or around the back, around the neck, side strike, around the back, around the neck. So that's called around the neck part 1. Right now we're just going to practice going around. So we're going to go around the back, around the neck, around the back, around the neck. So now I still want those reference points. So I'm touching that same spot as when I was doing this earlier. When I go around, I touch that exact same spot so that I don't have to guess where my hand should be. Because my hands they should be consistent. If I'm changing where I'm catching the chuck each time, well, then I'm not going to catch it every time, or even the majority of the time. So we want to stay as consistent as possible when we're doing this. All right, so if you notice, we're only going in one direction right now. Now I want you to go behind the back, and then I want you to bring it across, and you can go back here and switch. So if you want to switch it around, go around the neck, around the back, and then you can come back the other direction. So instead of continuing circling this way, I can just let it bounce back and then come back the other direction and change. So let's go ahead and change directions right now, if you hadn't already. Keep going. Again, if this is too easy, what do I want you to do? I want you to start moving around. You can practice footwork patterns. You can just walk. Sometimes just walking makes things a lot more difficult. You don't have to stay still. Ah, see, I hit my fingers there. It's okay. All right, so that was the around the back and the around the neck put together.